It wasn't bad. A lot of the other one.
Yep. Is there a motion to go in closed session?
So moved.
Move second. I didn't say move.
You may have.
The sound is like it sounds like it does, walks like it does.
Be it resolved, the Montgomery County Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County, Virginia hereby enter into closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following. Discussion, consideration, or interview of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salary, resignation, or specific officers, appointee, or employees of any public body. 1. Onward NRV, formerly the New River Valley Economic Development Alliance. 2. 911 Authority. Is there a motion?
We already did one.
Okay. Madam Secretary, you call roll.
Mr. Tapp?
Aye.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Chair King?
Aye.
7 ayes.
You got it.
I was in too deep. Is there a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provision of Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3711 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by boards that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia laws. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Montgomery County, Virginia hereby certify that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1. Only public business matters lawful, exempt from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in closed meeting to which this certification resolution applies. And 2. Only such public business matters was identified in the motion conveyed the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the board. Madam Secretary, you call roll, please.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bone?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Tapp?
Aye.
Chair King?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Now we have invocation and pledge of allegiance. Ask County Administrator if he would, please.
Let us rise, please. Let us pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Public address. Now we go into public address. We have no one signed up. If anybody would like to step forward and speak, please step forward and state your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
Heather Cox. I told her case and her husband.
Hello. Hi, Heather Cox, 1006 Morning Dove Drive, Blacksburg, Virginia. So first I just want to say thank you for all of you making the effort to have the joint meeting with the school board. As a engaged community member, that was really important for me. I love the fact that you could actually have a dialogue, because I've been to lots of these meetings over the years where something happens at a school board meeting, things get said, and then things happen here and things get said, and there's no dialogue. And so I think it was really helpful for me to hear different perspectives, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. Speaking about that, though, I would like to say that I strongly support the recommendation by the superintendent and Mr. Meadows I don't know if that was the recommendation by Mr. Meadows, but the plan to potentially move forward with renovations as quickly as possible to many of the Christiansburg Strand schools. And some of the things that I care about related to that are safety. And we saw a little bit about like what's changed in the community, size-wise, etc. And I just wonder, 15 years ago, were we doing active shooter drills in our schools? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to go with probably not. Not at the level that I know my kids are doing it right now. And they went to Harding with an open classroom concept, and I know that there were times where they would not have been in as safe an environment as they could have been if there had been traditional classrooms. And I would hate for any kid in Montgomery County to have that experience. Excuse me. I also want to ask about the fact that we want to make sure that our elementary school kids have foundations to be able to learn in an environment that then allows them to be successful at the high school level. Because this happens foundationally very early. And that's really important to me. So I would like to see things start at the elementary level related to safety and learning. And then lastly, I just want to address the per pupil spending issues that were brought up at that meeting. And I personally think we have a really inefficient system to have 4 high schools in this county. However, that ship sailed a long time ago. So optimally, we would have 2 high schools to have greater economies of scale. We don't have that. It's not the case. It absolutely costs more money to run a building for 200 people than it does for 800 or 1,200 people. But that's the situation that we have. That's what our community said they wanted years ago, and that's not something I can change. I don't think that we should be changing that right now because those decisions were made a long time ago. And so we're going to see some inefficiencies related to scale, inefficiencies related to economy per pupil than I think some other districts experience the same way. So I'd really like that to be evaluated in your thought process when we look at the per pupil spending. So thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Nancy Gibson. I live at 740 2nd Street here in Christiansburg. I attended last week's meeting with you all and the school board. I am a teacher in Montgomery County. I am proud and pleased to be a teacher in Montgomery County. But I do know that if you do not invest in high quality, good, honest, hardworking teachers, you are going to diminish the level of education in this community. You are going to promote social issues. You are going to promote lower valued employment for the current citizens of this community. I believe if you do not support a raise for the teachers in Dr. Meyer's budget, you are going to shortchange every individual, your constituents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to step forward and speak? Seeing none, we'll close this part. Addendum.
No addendum.
No addendum.
Sir.
Consent agenda.
So
Is there a
moved.
motion?
So
Second.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, you call roll, please.
Ms. Boone? Aye. Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Tuck?
Aye.
Mr. Chakowski?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Chair King?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Is there a motion to go into work session?
So moved. Second.
Or you can do all in favor, either one.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. We're in work session.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, good evening, folks. We had this time marked on the agenda this evening for discussion of the proposed fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. I know I've seen a few questions come in so far, and we've sent out a little bit of additional information. Angie and Mark and Carol and I are here tonight, and we'll be glad to try to answer what questions we can. And if there's something that we're not sure about or we need to do some research, we'll take good notes and get back to you on the items that we don't have readily available. But floor is open for any questions that you may have this evening.
Any questions? Supervisor Bone?
So email correspondence today as well as late last week. I really appreciated the spreadsheet that Ms. Carroll put together today. Just for clarification purposes, when you say debt service, that's the payments to the debt. It's not all debt. Is that correct?
If it's debt service, that's just the payments,
That's what
yes.
it is. And when you have, I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but when you have general, it was the difference between schools and general, the two lines.
The general fund.
Yeah.
Includes all the county departments, constitutional offices, outside agencies. And so in your budget document, you can see all the tabs that line through, and those are all portions of the general fund. I'll put exact numbers of agencies and things in there when I respond to your question.
And then the school fund, that includes the federal
Everything.
federal and state.
Everything we do.
Yes, it includes all revenue, and with all funds grouped together, it will have all the funds, the county, the state, federal, and nutrition. And just to be clear, Mark did all the work in putting all your charts together. I'd love to take all the credit, but he did all the work for it.
And because of the question Supervisor Bone asked, we're going to send that chart. What Ms. Bone basically asked for was a look back over historical perspective of how funds shake out between the general fund and the schools funds and those sorts of things. And did we go all the way back to 09, 06? So we've got a...
I'm asking for 06. Yeah, it was
so
08.
we'll give that to everybody so you can see the information. But that was a good question.
So my question back to you today, one of my questions back to you today was, am I correct in a general calculation of the general funds has increased 35% since 2008 fiscal year to 2019 as compared to Montgomery, the schools funds increasing 20% over the same time period? Is that?
I haven't calculated it yet. So
Okay.
I'll let you know.
And that's not including the debt service?
It is not.
Okay. That was all my questions that I had.
Any more questions?
Well, we want to encourage, as I've mentioned to you previously, as you have questions, if you will email those to us. And the reason I ask that you do that is that way we can all make sure we understand the question. And secondly, some of the questions, just as we discovered with that one that Supervisor Bone was asking, there's pieces in there that I think all 7 of you would like to see. So we're going to share that with everybody so you can understand. But don't hesitate to ask. We're here to help.
In regards to that, Craig, how long would it take to look at the school division's numbers that they have for these capital projects that they want to do right away? How long would it take to see if...
Well, one of the things that we need, and I emailed Dr. Meyer earlier this afternoon, is I don't know at this point what the not necessarily priority, the arrangement is as far as which projects when. I know we've talked about the 3 schools in the Christiansburg strand, and I know we looked at it in that 4-year fiscal window. There appears to be capacity to do that, but as I say, the devil's in the detail and trying to see what's coming first. Are they going to be all 3 at the same time? Is one going to go before the other? And I don't know if the school board, Dr. Meyer and I haven't even had a chance to talk about where the school board is in some of those talks. So
at
next Tuesday school board meeting, we're going to go over you remember I went over the options A, B, and C. We're going to go through those again next week. And I'm not bringing it for a vote next week, but there's a possibility that a motion might be made for a vote next week. So we might know pretty soon as to what the school board actually wants to do in terms of those projects.
And then we can take that and start talking to Courtney and looking at how things are structured to see.
And match them up.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And part of that process, if I could add to that, includes one of the numbers that the percentage is based on is expenses or revenue expenses or something like that.
Debt to general
Yeah.
fund expenditures.
So that number wouldn't reflect the budget that we have in front of us, I'm assuming. It doesn't reflect the budget that we have in front of us.
That's correct,
For
because
next-
this budget's not been adopted
Right.
yet.
But could we include that in the representation of folding in the schools moving forward?
Well, I'm certain with that we will, because there's no way we can issue debt before June 30th. So, in any scenario. So I'm sure once the fiscal year 20 budget is adopted, that will become part of the calculation moving forward. Yes, so it will be included.
Are there funds left in that savings account that we put that 2 cents away for capital for the schools? Is there funds in there right now, or we've depleted all those?
I think we've pretty much drawn that. I'm looking at Carol. I didn't bring my ton of papers. I'll have to go back and look, but I think, hadn't we drawn that down for the Christiansburg athletic projects for the most part?
I would have to look at the sheet to be sure. I think, it was, all of the cash was comprised of the 2 cents plus the sale of other properties. The majority of what we had set aside had
been
gone to the
athletic projects.
Project at the high school. Whether or not, do we still have the 2 cents from the current year? So we do still have the 2 cents from the current year. I would have to
Beyond that.
update the whole chart to know what we have outstanding from the sale of property in addition to those funds.
Okay, I thought we had. I was just asking a question.
We had built up a good balance in that fund, but we drew it down as the
Right.
athletic projects in Christiansburg were done.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there's anything left.
We'll check.
Okay.
Because the microphones are really...
Yeah.
You can come out of work session?
Any more questions?
Are we going to have any kind of discussions about anything or just asking questions? Because I did want to bring up a discussion item just for everybody to think about or be thinking about, if that's okay, just a small one, related to Onward NRV and what we're funding them right now. We are funding them $72,369 through our outside agency funding. This year they requested $98,509, so there's about $26,000 in difference between the request and what we have budgeted. They have based their request on requesting funding at a rate of $1 per citizen. And I guess just in case everybody's not fully aware, Onward NRV, and please jump in, Craig, if I'm not spelling this out correctly, serves as an economic development regional group that's focusing on bringing economic development to the whole region. So they're serving where, Craig? I know they're serving the New River Valley.
Well, their former title was the New River Valley Economic Development Alliance. They serve Giles, Floyd, Pulaski, Montgomery, and the city of Radford.
Okay. I wanted to discuss with you guys, Craig built into the budget this year $36,000 in discretionary outside agency funding, and I just wanted to have a discussion regarding where everybody might stand on fully funding their request. Or give you the opportunity to think about it over the coming weeks, because no decisions have to be made tonight.
Is that what all jurisdictions pay?
Yes.
They gave us a funding breakdown, and Craig, could you maybe make a note to get that to everybody on what
Absolutely.
jurisdictions are providing? Several of them are providing $1 per capita, and then also Blacksburg and Christiansburg are providing funding as well.
We can send that out.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Do we know if the other localities are granting them their requests?
I am not sure.
Since we're sort of the first ones out of the gate.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Good question, though. I'm not sure. I can see what I can find out on that.
I'll ask the two town managers too, what
Thank
they've
you.
got proposed in their budgets.
That's really more of a food for thought item.
I'm curious as to what justification we've had in the past to basically fund them at 3/4 of their request, and why a 30% plus increase would be justified this year.
Sure.
So my sense is that, and I don't know this number, our budget increased X percent this year. I'd like to know how many more dollars that would be if we multiply that by what we did pay them last year.
And that'd
if our
probably be a
funding-
good question to forward on to Onward NRV to ask them that specific question.
Did I confuse you, or does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Okay.
I'm actually seeing Charlie at a meeting tomorrow, so
Oh, great.
I'll
Tell
ask
them
him
to watch
tomorrow.
this meeting.
I'll see him tomorrow.
Any more discussion? Is there a motion to come out of work session?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Thank you.
Just the new business? Yes, sir. First item of new business, Mr. Chair, is appointment to the Alcohol Safety Action Program, and this is to reappoint Patrick Jensen.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, you call roll, please.
Mr. Wojciechowski?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bowden?
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Tapp?
I will be abstaining. I am appointed to that board by a different body, an at large, and I don't think it would be appropriate then for me to be voting on that board, and so therefore I'm going to abstain.
Chair King?
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 abstain.
Mr. Chair, next item we have under new business is to proclaim April 1st, 2019 as Census Awareness Day.
So moved.
Second. And then I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. A while back, we received some information from VACO because they're really concerned that with not having as many people going door to door for the census count, they're relying on people to go to the internet and fill out their information. And we all know that we have a lot of folks that don't have internet access. They could go to the library, that's true. But for every person we don't count, we can lose up to $2,000 per person. And over the period of time, 10 years, that would be $20,000 a person. So one of the things that VACO suggested doing was having some kind of get out the census something to get people to, are we doing anything like that?
Well, we're actually meeting with census staff this Wednesday at 10 o'clock to talk about plan of action for the 2020 census, so I'm sure that'll be included as part of our discussion, is how to mobilize folks and get as high a response and turnout as we can. So we will absolutely make sure we include that as part of the discussion.
Because we want every cent we can get back.
Absolutely.
At least, don't we?
We'll make sure to follow up on that. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Any more discussion? Is there a motion?
In a second, yeah, I can.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Very good. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to proclaim April 7th through the 13th, 2019 as National Library Week.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, in our continuing effort to proclaim things in the month of April, the next one is to proclaim April 1st through the 7th, 2019 as Local Government Education Week.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have another question. Like last year when we did this, we talked about maybe doing something that, because we're proclaiming it, but what are we actually doing with it? Are we doing anything? And I know we've been like piles being buried and everything else, but is there anything that we're doing, like or not?
You want to address that one, or?
We're trying to come up with a good thing to do. One of the things that we plan to do no matter what is a social media campaign.
Oh, cool.
We'll put points out, and I know Craig and I have questions to talk about that, but we have lots of things that we can share and talk about, so we'll be doing that at least during that week. What kind of did you know about government and how to get involved?
Yeah, okay. Thank
So,
you.
That's a compromise given the time this year.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Huh?
Can we do either way, roll call or point of order, sir?
My advice is to always do roll call. Reason being, there's certain actions that you have to do roll call, so it's just better when we're taking action on something on the agenda, we should always do roll call. That way, it's one, it's clear how everyone voted, and then two, like I said, there's certain actions like appropriations and some other actions where you're by law required to do roll calls.
Madam Secretary, you call roll, please.
Thank you.
Ms. Bowden? Aye. Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Tuttle?
Aye.
Mr. Fidzikowski?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Chair King?
Aye.
7 ayes.
And last item for proclamations is, while we're all busy with all these things the first week in April, we would also like for the board to consider proclaiming April 2nd, 2019 as National Service Recognition Day, recognizing all organizations in Montgomery County for their volunteer services.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Secretary, you call roll, please.
Mr. Shepherd?
Aye.
Mr. Tuttle?
Aye.
Mr. Fidzikowski?
Aye.
Mr. Motts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Ms. Bowden? Aye. Chair King?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Now, County Attorney's report. Don't you say it.
Already different.
Can we hear it again? County Administrator.
Mr. Chair, just a couple of things. I had an opportunity to meet with several folks during the week last week. Met with Meredith Huntley, who is chairman of the Valley Innovations Council, and they are the group that's working very closely with the Korean VTC project in Roanoke, and we were reminded again that once we get through budget season, they would love to host us over at the Korean Research Center, so we're going to see what we can arrange for that. I also had the pleasure, our Commissioner of the Revenue asked me to speak to their Commissioners Association meeting that they had here at the Government Center on Thursday, so I got to speak to about 30 commissioners and their staff from across Southwest Virginia, and I talked about the partnerships between local elected constitutional officers and county administration. So that was a good meeting. I enjoyed that very much. Plus, I got lunch out of it, so that was pretty good. And then Friday, I made a presentation to the Christiansburg Rotary Club about just the state of the county and how county government worked. And it was a small group, but I always enjoy the opportunities to get out and speak to folks and talk about what's going on in our great county. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Shepherd.
I'd just like to thank the staff and our financial network of people for all that they've done after starting to go through or going through this catalog of the budget. I'm sure it's a daunting task. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Supervisor Tuck.
Few things. I will be addressing the Christiansburg Town Council tomorrow, talking about some of the issues from my perspective of representing District B. Appreciate the chair giving me that opportunity, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And I'll try to give my best to encompass some of the things from the joint meeting that we had with the school board. And other than that, that's it.
Thank you.
One other thing, I was unable, because of the death of Chief Epperly, they moved fire and rescue. I already had another meeting and ended up going to that meeting on Wednesday night, so I did not and was not able to go to fire and rescue.
We didn't talk about you too much.
I know Neil, I'm sure Neil didn't say it.
I didn't say anything about Neil. I said,
He said we didn't talk about it.
That's good.
Supervisor Steve.
I actually don't have any report today.
Supervisor B.
Okay, well, went to the airport authority on March 12th, and we are going to continue to explore and plan for the growth of the airport. I know I brought to your attention that they were maybe looking for localities to give a little bit more money, but they're not nearly ready for that because they need to look at what they're going to do. I attended on Saturday the NAACP legislative update meeting, and we had Delegate Hurst and Senator Edwards there. The other representatives were unable to be there because of being out of town. And I don't know if we want to have a legislative update sometime, but if we do, we've done that in the past or had them come in the past. That's something I'll just put out there. I attended the Montgomery Chamber of Commerce Annual Women's Leadership Conference, and 2 of our own were nominated for awards, and I wanted to bring that and call that out. April DeMotts for the Community Builder Award. She was nominated for that, and Jennifer Harris for the Spirit Award. And if anyone matches the Spirit Award, it's you. I also wanted to ask if we would be thinking about doing in the future a resolution for Jimmy Epperly. I just think it would be so important to do that. He's one of the first people I met when I got on the board, and he was always so courteous and so engaged with local Board of Supervisor members and always thanking us for our support. Just such a caring gentleman. I'm going to truly miss seeing him. And the other 2 meetings I went to, Workforce Consortium Board on March 20th and Virginia's First Authority on March 13th. And I'll just report that both boards are doing well.
Good job.
Supervisor Bowman.
I'd like to thank everyone on this board as well as everyone on the school board for the joint meeting we had last week. I thought it was very good and productive. I thought it was great. I also attended the Montgomery County Public Schools Hiring Day, or whatever they called it, on Saturday morning from, I think it was about 8:30 until about 3.
Did you apply?
I did not. But about 180 teachers came through that door to interview. Wow. And a couple were hired on the spot. But they are a well-oiled machine, MCPS, to be able to do that in that amount of time. I mean, it was all hands on deck, and it was really impressive. They did a great job. So I also attended the women's conference and thought it was outstanding. Think that our chamber does a great job, not just for women in our county, but for everyone in our county and the businesses. And that's all I have.
Sarah, just to clarify, you said at that, the school
Hiring day? Yeah.
100 and how many?
180.
Came to apply?
Came through their doors and interviewed.
Wow.
I was told that they hire 100 a year, so that's quite a bit of turnover. So it's not just this day, but they do go to career fairs and things like that to do what they do. But this activity was quite impressive.
Vice Chair DeMotts.
Just a couple of things, fun things really. I also attended the women's conference, as did Jennifer. Sorry guys, y'all were all left out of that one, but all the ladies represented the Board of Supervisors well. It really was a great conference. And then 2, just events to put on your calendar if you're interested in either of them. on the 28th, so later on this week, is the Take Back the Night rally in Blacksburg. That rally is intended to support victims of domestic violence and other types of relationship violence, as well as sexual violence. And so it's a very moving event. Music starts at 6:30. The rally in March starts at 7. It's definitely something that I would encourage people to go out for, even if you just stay for the rally portion and choose not to walk. It is very moving. You will leave with some differences in your soul. That's on the Henderson Lawn in Blacksburg. And then the other one, a much more fun event. This is the Big Plant. You meet on the drill field at 10:30 a.m. on March the 30th. That's this coming Saturday. This is a student-led initiative. It's led by the Environmental Coalition at Virginia Tech, but it is open to all members of the community and all ages. You meet at 10:30 at the Pylons at War Memorial. They're going to do a quick kind of, I guess, description of the event. All materials and supplies will be provided. And then from the Pylons, you'll disperse to a couple of different locations. The goal for the day is to plant 4,000 to 5,000 trees throughout the New River Valley and Blacksburg. So it's a pretty lofty goal. Definitely encourage members of the community to go out and support that. And that's all.
Thank you. I have no report. So, with that being said,
Can I mention one thing? I'm sorry.
your turn's up.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to mention that our next meeting is the budget public hearing, which will be Thursday night, April the 4th at 6 o'clock. Just wanted to remind folks of that. And then our next regular board meeting will be Monday, April 8th. But just wanted to get that
April
in.
the
Sorry.
4th?
I'm sorry?
April the 4th?
Yes.
Okay, for some reason I had it down for this Thursday, and so I was going to be early.
We can sit here and wait on us.
Well, that's okay. I've got another meeting to attend, believe it or not.
Meeting adjourned. Thank y'all.
See, you will be there.
Yes.